this video. I think it's gonna be quite long, so get cozy, get a drink, get a snack, and let's hang out together. Today we'll be once again doing my monthly reading wrap-up for the month of September, and be prepared for a very wild ride. actually happened. So I feel like that book only like half counts, but it was random, it was fun, it was really random actually. The writing isn't half as good as Freida McFadden's writing is now, but yeah, it was a good little hour and a half I had there, or like hour, 45 minutes, I don't know. It was also, while it was like raining, while it was raining and I was laying in my cabin, so the vibe was kind of really nice, so I did enjoy it. I didn't give it a rating because I feel like it's not at all reflecting, like it's just ramblings of a madman, or like a general idea of a later on book, so I kind of feel like it wasn't even supposed to be a book, but that's why I left out a rating. Like, I mean, technically that's like 1 star, you know, it's not like really weird, but that's why I'm not rating it. The next book though, that I read, finished, and absolutely adored, was The 7 Years Live by Poston. I feel like I am incredibly late to the Ashley Poston party, but this was on my holiday TBR that we picked out together, and I think I devoured this in like a day. And it was so good. This book had a bit of a rough time with me. If you want to look at the state of it, because I accidentally dipped it in water. It's got a bit of water damage up here, and then this was truly the first book I was very inclined to do annotations to, but because I was on holidays I didn't have anything, so I dog-eared this book, and please do not come for me. I know this is bad, I know how this looks, okay, but I was out of resources, you know, so yeah, I dog-eared a lot of this book toward the end, because I loved the writing in this book. I gave it 5 stars, so, if you don't know what this book is about, it is about Clementine, and Clementine used to be really, really close to her aunt, who passed away and left her with her apartment, and that apartment is magical and can randomly transport you 7 years into the past, within, you know, the walls of this apartment. So Clementine meets this man who lives in the apartment 7 years ago, and they slowly start to fall in love with each other, and you know, the story goes from there on. I was actually surprised by how the book developed. I, you know, couldn't really imagine what was going to happen with the magic really girls while I was on a beach holiday. So I kind of noticed at some point that your girl was desperate, so I stopped reading it. But let's quickly recap a little bit about this book. So the writing is incredibly flowery and slow-paced, which I don't mind if there is enough substance to it, if there's enough world building to it and enough going on, but we just get absolutely dumped into the story with this one. It kind of felt like to me like this was the second book of a series. I was just really confused, but I wasn't confused because of the 30-page glossary that is in the beginning with different world explanations and how this world works, which is really complicated. It's also really like crazy and like, I hate to say it, but it feels very unnecessary at times. There's literally a huge glossary with names of people, like days, how this world works, and different words. Okay, yeah, but we follow Rees, who is an assassin for the rebellion group due to one of her jobs or whatever. She gets imprisoned and then meets Vega, who's a king. And then he kind of frees her. That's like the blurb. And that's the blurb, and that's all that's happened till here. And that's basically what happened. But like nothing happened. Like if you feel me. So I have like so many questions about this book, okay? You just get dumped right into the story with Rees, who's an assassin. That's all you know about her. Like, not joking, I'm 300 pages into this book and I do not know a single thing about her background. Like, maybe I missed it because I was so bored at some points, but like, you don't know why she's working for this rebellion group, you don't know why she's an assassin, you don't know a single thing about her life before you get dumped into this current situation with her. You don't know anything about this rebellion group, what they're even rebelling against, or why she's like killing for them. Like at some point it comes out who she killed on her like own free time, like as a hobby, and like sure, great thing, but it's just kind of like you don't know a single thing about her. Nothing. You don't know where her parents are, where her friends, if she has any siblings, nothing. There's every now and then little entries out of a diary who you don't know who wrote the diary. I have an idea that was like her or it's got something to do with her backstory, but because it's so unclear, I have like zero relation to her. And then like you get introduced to her and then pretty early on a close friend to her dies. And I couldn't care less. I could not care less because I met this person for about a single page. And I think from there on she's like supposed to be really angry on a like revenge mission. I just like don't care. I don't know this person. I don't care that they're dead. I don't know you. I don't know anything about your motives. Like, what is going on? Like, plot-wise, I had like no idea. And then, like, she's very angry about her friend's death. And then she gets captured, which it says on the back. And then nothing happens. And then she gets freed by this king. And then she gets dragged around by this king. And that is where I'm at. That's all that happened in 280 pages. Bless you, sir. Did you hear that? So, like, that's legitimately everything that happened. And it was just incredibly boring. Also, the man we're like supposed to like, in my head he's like disgusting. Because the way he's like described. I'm like, I don't know. Not my type. I think she legit describes as like hairy armpits. And like, okay, my man has hairy armpits, like, I don't care, but like, that isn't really doing it for me, you know, like, tell me about his abs, or dad bod, like, I don't care, but like, tell me about his strong arms, his like, calloused hands, I don't know, but like, it's like sweaty little armpits. Can we not? Like, next time, like, she's gonna tell me about his soft kneecaps or whatever. I don't know, like, the descriptions sometimes are really, really random. And I will say, as mentioned, it has a 30-page glossary about this world building thing, okay? And, like, that's great, you know, like, love that for you, that you wanted to make a different world and like really build it up, but there's some stupid ass stuff in there. For example, like, it's literally just different words for mom and dad. It's like mama and papa, which like is the word in German as well, but it's just like, can we not just say mom and dad? It's giving me nothing, okay, to the world building. Nothing that we're calling it mama and papa. Zero. Especially because there aren't even any moms and dads in his book so far. Because apparently no one has them. Like, make it make sense. And then there's like a whole other system of like accounting days and time and years. And just kind of like, great. Like, to say she's 16 years old, like, do you have to say she's like 16 eons or like egg shifts or whatever, egg drops long? It just did not make any sense to me why that is a thing. Like, if you build a nice fantasy world, it means absolutely nothing to me if they count in days or say mama and papa. Say mom and dad. Because you're dropping me in this magical world, in this magical place, and I'm anyway imagining my own things to be there, you know, so it's kind of like just super weird to like change like time and time counting. And it's like mom and dad, like, come on, like, do some good world building, and I will not care that your character says mom and dad instead of mama and papa. With an H, spelled with an H. Anyway, I mean, it's safe to say that I found this book to be very lacking in a lot of things. I don't know, I thought the world building is a bit insufferably too much. This kind of feels like a project from this one like braggy kid in school that like every class has, and they just needed to show off how great their like writing skills are, and in the meantime like completely forgot the actual point of why I'm reading this book. And like, I hate to slam writing like that because personal preference and stuff, but for me it was just terribly slow. I didn't really care about the characters, and I just found it very, very boring. I think that's all I can say. And from the standpoint where I am right now in this book, you have zero idea what's going to happen. because as I said, she's currently getting dragged around by this prince, but you have zero background information about the motives of this prince. You don't have any background information about her motives or her wants, her needs. You don't know what she's gonna do, because that one person in her life is dead. She doesn't have anybody else. Yes, she wants revenge, but like, how? Because she's currently getting dragged around the country. Apparently she's like really, really great, but we only hear that from her saying it, but then she randomly like gets kidnapped. You know, I don't know about that then. If you're so great, are you really? Anyway, yeah, and there's like 4 characters in the book, and one of them is dead. So I just have zero idea what is going to happen in the last like 400 pages of this massive chunker, and I'm not sure if I want to find out. And like, that is my truth on this book. I'm just not sure if I want to find out what is going to happen, because ever since I put this book down, I have not a single minute thought about it or thought about picking it up again. So unfortunately, I might give it another chance, but so far this was very, very disappointing to me. Alright, so after getting that little disappointment out of the way, I was finally ready to pick back up where I've left off and get out of this like oncoming reading slump I was like heavily racing towards. So I was like, what better than to finally pick up my girl Elsie server. So I picked up Wild Love, which was another pick out of my summer TBR, or my holiday TBR. And this is her new Rose Hill series. I can't even say new anymore because it's like the second book is already out. But this gorgeous pinky book. Randomly, it's so loud today. I'm very sorry. That is not me. Anyway, so I picked this up to lift my spirits. And what can I say? It absolutely did. So this book follows Ford, who is Willa's brother. Willa is from the Chestnut Springs book 2. And he's a billionaire. He's a music producer, or like he says, a record label in Rose Hill. And Rosie is the female main character who comes back from the big city and is in desperate need of a job. So Ford hires her to help out at his job. Always record company. But you know, from there on the story goes, there's a lot of tropes in this book, I will say. It's a small town romance, billionaire romance. Then there's the single dad trope. I think all of the Rose Hill books are supposed to be single dad trope. Where was I? Single dad, yeah. So Ford unexpectedly, a child enters his life that he didn't know about, and he's kind of navigating that as well. And then, you know, Rosie, they also know each other from childhood, and she is his best friend's little sister. So, you know, we've got a lot of tropes, and I was a bit scared of reading it just because of the like trope happiness, and because billionaire romance is unfortunately a little ick for me. Not my vibe. But this, my friends, this was amazing. I gave it 5 stars. I didn't connect the most with Rosie Tracy's brother. I'm really, really excited. Yeah, the next book is on my TBR for this month, but I'm happy to report that I did read it, and I did love it, and it was amazing. I'm really, really happy about this. I can feel, another favourite series of mine coming on. Like, I'm already obsessed with Elsie. There's nothing to be done about it, but this was great. Okay, next up, I picked up my Kindle again, because I kind of needed a little break and needed something quick to like fully get out of my reading slump. And I read The X by Freida McFadden. I gave it 5 stars, but now in retrospective, I would probably bump it down a bit, because I'm gonna be really honest. I just had Rihanna stuck in my head. Anyway, is it Rihanna? Yeah. Anyway, I cannot remember half of this book. All I remember, so it's called The X, and it's about this girl who thinks her boyfriend's gonna propose, but he actually breaks up with her, and then she gets like super obsessed with him and is basically stalking him, and he then gets a new girl, and she's like heavily obsessed, and like following her around and stuff, and then there's like some plot twists at the end. It goes crazy, boom, Freida McFadden fashion. And actually, at the time that I read it, I thought this was a really, really good book, and it is, but somehow I cannot remember. I can especially not remember the plot on the end. So I'm like really not sure where this book was going anymore. I just know that I really liked it. It might not be my favourite of Freida McFadden, but yeah, I feel like it's a bit undeserving of 5 stars. I might knock that down a bit, but it was definitely like a 3 or 4 star read. It was really good. And Freida McFadden books usually for me are really, really fast paced and nice, so I do really enjoy it. Okay, and then also still during my holiday, I started reading Twisted by Emily McIntire, and Twisted is one of her books in the Never After series, which are all reimagined fairy tales. I think she calls them fractured fairy tales. You can kind of find certain elements in her books out of the OG Disney movies, and I always find it's a bit like the bad guy gets the happy ending kind of thing. They're all dark romances, which we love. They have some good smut. If you know, you know. Anyway, and Twisted is the Aladdin fractured fairy tale. So I think she's called Jasmine. It's called Jasmine, and her father is a diamond Mongol, like billionaire, and he wants her to marry Julian, who's his like right hand. But Julian's pretty shady, and like she doesn't want to marry him. He doesn't want to marry her, allegedly. And I'm not a lot further in this book. Again, this was the book I started, and then there's absolutely nothing with. I love Emily McIntire, and I've been wanting to finish this series for the longest time. So I will have to continue, but I haven't yet, is what I'm trying to get at. I will do. I'm just like stuck in like 7 billion books, as you can tell right now. And that was actually the next book I'm stuck in, is Jimenez So they decide to date each other for a summer, for just the summer, to cancel out each other's curses. So that's kind of where I'm at. They already met and they're getting along, but it's not very like fluffy summer romance. It's a lot more deeper than I expected because they both have past and current trauma with different things. For example, Emma's mother is very toxic as a mother, and she all of a sudden appears at where she and Justin actually is about to take guardianship for his siblings because his mom is going to prison after embezzling a lot of money from her company when his dad died. So very heavy, and I could see a lot of trauma with her mom especially coming up that I just wasn't prepared to read. This was actually on my nightstand for so long because I started this on one of the last days of my vacation, and then for the week I was home. I didn't read a single page, not of this book and not of any other book, which was kind of unfortunate. It did really, I really had a very, very heavy low, and I just was not reading for the entire week. I did, however, listen to audiobooks. I listened to The Honeymoon Chrashers by Christina Lauren, which is a novella and the 1.5 book to The Honeymooners, which I read last month, if you remember. So The Honeymooners follows Ethan and I forgot a name, not that important, but basically it follows the girl and the guy. Amazing description. Who are at the wedding of their siblings, and the wedding goes completely south because of food poisoning. So they take on the honeymoon of their siblings, even though they hate each other. And from there on, we got some love, we got some romance. And now the honeymoon crushes is about the girl's sister who was initially having her wedding that, went south. So now she is following her sister back to the honeymoon place. It was in Maui, I believe, where she's about to get married to Ethan, and they pretended to want a small wedding, but she knew that wasn't what her sister wanted, so she flew after them to plan the wedding for her. And there she meets the groomsman. Is that the word? Groom of honor. How do you say that? Best man, is that the word? Yeah, the best man. And they kind of try to plan this last minute bigger wedding together. It's really fun, it's really cute. It's 4 hours or something. It's a novella, as I said. But it was really cute. I loved it for novella as well. I thought the characters were really, really well done. Probably because we already knew her from the previous book. But the storyline itself was very round, very nice, very well done. So I gave it 4 stars because I think for a novella that was incredibly well done. And I loved it. And then the next audiobook I listened to was The Good Lie by A.R. Torre. And that book follows a clinical psychiatrist, is that what you say? She's a psychiatrist and she works with clients who have the wish to, inflict pain or kill others in their life. she works with them, and then one day one of her clients, it's a bit more complex. One of her clients actually does something really bad and she's really shocked about it. And there's also a serial killer in her like small town world who is kidnapping and killing young like high school guys. So she works with this attorney whose son got killed by this murderer to solve to figure out more about these deaths, because the police says they have a suspect, and the father of one of the boys, the attorney, who's actually, I think he's on the prosecution team, or no, he takes up the defense of the guy who's the alleged murderer, but he believes, obviously, that he didn't do it, and he wants justice for his son and the other victims from the real killer, so they kind of team up to work together on this case. I didn't rate it, and I find it really hard to remember what was actually going on. I thought the book was really well done. There's a few different perspectives, but not too many. There's a great plot twist, and I feel like the characters were really well done. I enjoyed hearing about the psychiatrist a lot, because she was like explaining different psychiatric ideas and like guidelines and stuff, which I thought was really, really interesting. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't the best book ever. I think I'd give it like 3.5 stars, which seems kind of fair. Okay, then actually, this is my one and only DNF of the books that I started, but I kept reading Crave by Tracy Wolff, which is a very famous YA book. It follows this girl who gets to this crazy boarding school in Alaska after her parents die, and all the people there are really weird. Anyway, I was saying in my last reading wrap-up that I'm so far not really enjoying it. I did give it another chance though, and I think I'm at like 80%, but I couldn't take it anymore. I was so uninterested, and it was getting on my nerves so much. I just could not do it any longer, so I DNF'd it at about 80%, and I'm not gonna rate it because it'd be a really bad rating, but maybe I would have enjoyed that if I was a lot younger, because it's just so obvious, and the plot is just, there's no plot, just slightly retarded. Yeah, anyway, I think it's supposed to be a Twilight fanfic, and like, I can't see it, but I don't know, it wasn't that great. I didn't like it a lot, but one of my friends is like really, really obsessed with it, but she reads the German books of it, and I think it might be the translation doing a lot of the heavy lifting, because I have found the writing to be very, very shit. It was very, very, very YA, which is fine. It's a YA book. I don't know what I expect, but you know, it was just very short sentences, very much like, I put on my Converse and then I ate my Fruity Pops, and when I eat my muesli I dropped them off my lap, clumsy me, you know, that vibe. And it wasn't doing it for me. And the love interest, what? So yeah, I DNF'd it. I do not want to be bothered with this story any longer, because I didn't think it was that great, but let's keep going. I have 3 more books. We're almost at the end. Okay, so the next book that I picked second holiday during my Albania trip, and this is all I read in the last week. That's why this video is a bit, unstructured and random, and some books are finished, some are not, but not the best reading month if you like total everything. But one good thing came out of it, and that is that I now love Ashley Poston, and I am happy to report that I will be getting The Dead Romantics. I will be reading it on The Dead Poets. Dead Romantic Poets. Dead Poet Romantics. Anyway, I will be reading it. But yeah, I loved this book. I have had it saved for so long, and I swore that I would only get this book if I enjoyed The 7 Years Lib, which I did, as I said. So I straight up got this book because I thought that the story sounded so interesting. So this book follows Elsie, who gets lost on the way to her book club cabin meeting and randomly ends up in the town of her favourite book. Basically as if you would randomly end up in Crescent, in Chestnut Springs. I don't know, it was just so well done, and obviously she finds a love interest in the grumpy bookstore owner in this town, and she's kind of helping the characters find the happy ending. So I think the whole thing is that the author who initially wrote these books died, so all of the characters are kind of stuck in an infinite loop in this town, and she has to kind of help them to their happy ending. And oh my god, this book was so much better than I thought it was going to be. If you love books and you have a story that's really dear near to your heart, you're going to freaking love this book. I think it was so incredibly beautifully done. I really loved the aspect of, a character in a book feeling like yourself, in the sense of that you would love to experience your favourite book, you would love to be in the world of your favourite book, fall in love, like meet the characters, be friends with them, and already in that sense it felt really great. And then the storyline itself was just so cute, and I don't know, so well done. As I said, I love Ashley Poston's writing, and I unfortunately dog-eared some more pages because I didn't learn and I did not bring a marker. I might go in and probably annotate them, even though I've never done it before, but Miss Ashley Poston was the first one to make me want to do so. I'll read you the dedication of this book because I thought it was so incredibly sweet. She said, "To the author of my favourite book, I wish I could have met you, but I hope my books find your books on the shelves, and I hope they're friends." And I thought that was so incredibly cute. This book is also so sweet and romantic and upsetting, and I hate to admit it, but I was sobbing in an Albanian bus, and I was sobbing on the plane home. It was slightly embarrassing. version of you that day by day gets further and further away from the you that you are now. I also like the idea that once your book is published, it belongs to the people who read it. It occupies a spot on their shelf, just like it once occupied a piece of your life. It finds a home elsewhere, in other hearts, in the hands of readers who will interpret and imagine your words in their own unique way. Since becoming an author, I realized that I'm the only one who will ever experience my story the way I wrote it. Only I will take the journey with Elsie and climb the trail to the waterfall in the way I imagined it. But that also means that every reader after me experiences the exact same, something wholly rare and unique to them, something sacred. I think that's what makes your favorite book even more powerful, because not only did you read it and experience it in the only way you can, but it lit the exact right parts of your soul to make you fall in love. You, in all the world, found home in that moment. You found comfort in a set of words written a year, 2 years, 10, 100 years ago. And they are there, and there they are now, echoing in the chambers of your heart. Whether it's a literary classic or a forgotten novella buried in the stacks of a used bookstore, every reader deserves that. An author might have their name on a novel, but it's the readers who bring those slices of dead trees to life. It's the readers who forge an author's legacy and keep them alive long after they're gone. That's the magic of stories. They entertain you, they challenge you, they comfort you, they transport you to somewhere only you can find, and somewhere you can stay as long as you like. The author of my favorite book is gone, but her words echo on in my ribcage and stand the test of time on my shelf and keep me company, even though I've never met her and she never knew I existed. Like a tattoo on the heart, the story stays. So I thought that was incredibly beautiful, and she's really poetical and lyrical, maybe a little flowery, I guess, in her writing, and that's like the whole magic of it. As I said, her books kind of make you believe that anything at any time is possible. Even, finding the town of your favorite book and falling in love there. And yeah, her books just feel really good and really sacred to me. I really enjoyed it. 5 stars, and I will read her other books. She's going to be one of my will buy immediately authors. So I did only finish this yesterday, so I only have 2 more books. The other book I have is a reread, basically, and that is House of Earth and Blood, aka Crescent City, book number 1 by Miss Sarah J. Maas. I've read this book before, and if you watched my channel for long enough, you would have probably heard me say that I'm obsessed with this series. It is so far my favorite Sarah J. Maas series, and I'm rereading them all it because the graphic audios are available for this book on Everend, and I haven't yet done it because I was like waiting for the right time, waiting for the start of fall. But while I was on holiday and we were taking a lot of buses on really rocky roads where even I get sick reading, I started listening to the graphic audio, and I will now continue to reading and listening to the graphic audios. If you've never listened to the graphic audios, they're so amazing. They're literal game changer. There are fully performed audiobooks by full cast, and they don't just which is subscription based, and you can listen to as many audiobooks as you want a month. However, I think you can only listen to 4 of the graphic audios a month, and they always split in multiple parts. This is 2 parts, but they also have Fourth Wing. They also have Akata on Everend and Crescent City, so if you want to try that, try Everend. I've been liking Everend a lot so far, but we're almost done, almost done. Thank you so much for your patience with me on today's video. But the last book that I've started to read is actually an arc, and it's my first ever arc, and I'm really, really excited. It is The Tournameint of Heirs by Amilea Perez. The Tournameint of Heirs. And I think I'm like 30 pages into it, so I can't tell you too much yet. But I'm really, really excited. I actually found her and then messaged her to see if I could read it, because she had like an ARC application form, and it was so sweet to give me one, and I'm so excited. I literally never read an ARC before, because this was the first time I had a want to do so, but the story just sounded amazing. I don't want to say too much, because obviously I don't know a lot about the story yet, but it was kind of promoted as a Hunger Game-esque book. And it's just so pretty. She's also a, first time indie debut author. It's her first book. She's 22 and she's a STEM girly, which we love and support. So I'm really excited for this book. So basically, as far as I'm right now, this book follows 2 siblings, Metzley, I think, and Aklan. I hope I'm not butchering these names. And Aklan is the male heir of, I don't understand the world yet, because I said I'm 30 pages in, okay? But I think maybe just of that clan. I will report back to you on that. And Metzley's sister has to accompany him to the Tournament of Heirs. So it's basically a tournament between the 6 heirs, between the 6 houses or clans. And they all need to have one blood-bound companion out of their family, which for a clan is his sister, Metzley. And yeah, as I said, I'm not further into the book, but it promises to be a very thrilling and deathly tournament between all the heirs and their companion, and only one duo can survive. And I think they're going to be the new leaders of the world this is set in. But yeah, I'm so excited. I will report back to you when I am done with this book towards the end of the month. But you can check out her book on Amazon. I think it is self-published, and it's coming out in the middle of October. So if that sounded interesting to you, my scrambled explanation, you can check out her book on Amazon. But I will let you know about my thoughts at the end of the month. But I'm incredibly excited to be reading it. So yeah. Anyway, my loves, that was all I've been up to this month. I know I haven't finished a lot of books, but all things considered, I think I was doing quite with a good book, a hot chai, and I just want to read all day. I do one exam, but it ain't stopping me. I'm the queen of procrastination.